Some of you will have seen the letter I wrote to Christians across the diocese, calling us to make this Lent a time of prayer and fasting. What I want to do in this short video is just say a little bit more about that and also provide some practical advice. Prayer is foundational to our life with God and in God. It's the primary way we sustain our relationship with God and how God sustains us. As Karl Barth said, the keynote of Jesus' teaching on prayer was ask. And in prayer we're confident to come before God with our hopes and our longings, our requests for the world, for the church, for others and for ourselves. But prayer isn't all about asking. It involves listening and it involves being quiet. Prayer needs us to make space for God. We need to set aside time, alone or with others, to connect with God our Father through Jesus and in the power of the Holy Spirit. The call that's come from our deanery leadership to make this Lent a special time is actually to focus on prayer and fasting. As Christians, we take prayer pretty much for granted. We know that's part of what we do, but we're not so clear about fasting. Very few Christians engage in fasting regularly. There's little teaching about it in our churches and not much expectation that it's something for every Christian to do. And yet Jesus himself talked about fasting. Jesus said, when you fast, when you pray, not if. So there is an expectation that this is something that disciples, followers of Jesus should do. And it has been part of the practice of the church. So what do we do about fasting in practical terms? Our deanery leadership has suggested that we make Friday a day when we fast and pray together. Though of course some people and their circumstances may make Friday not the right day. Choose another one. If you've never practiced fasting before, you need to make sure you can walk before you can run. So go without one meal, perhaps working up to going without two, and then by the end of Lent, missing a whole day. But the idea is that you use the time that you haven't been preparing food or eating it to be attentive to God. Some people will find it very difficult to miss their meal, perhaps because they've got a medical condition. Well, fast from something else. Fast from television, fast from radio. The important thing is to make a focus on God. Those who read my letter will know that I'm absolutely convinced that unless we realise that our strategic work depends on the work of God across the diocese, then actually we're not going to see the growth we long for. It's my prayer that this Lent will be a time when God helps us to grow and we see his hand at work among us. So may the Lord be with you this Lent.